Welcome to Do-It-Yourself Irrigation's Irrigation Valve Installation video. This video is designed to give you an overview on several different types of valve installations, including zone or station valves, master valves, and manual or isolation valves. Before we begin, we'd like to share Rainbird's anatomy of a sprinkler system.
Let's take a look at the basics of an automatic sprinkler system. It's made up of three main components: a controller, valves, and sprinklers. The controller is the system's brain. It tells the valves to open or close, turning the sprinklers on or off. When the controller reaches a programmed start time, it sends a signal to one of the valves telling it to open. Each valve controls a group of sprinklers called a zone or station. The valve works like an automatic faucet. When it receives the command from the controller, it opens the flow of water. When the run time for the zone is done, the controller tells the valve to close. The valve closes, shutting off the flow of water to the sprinklers. The process is repeated for each zone in the system.
At the very beginning of our irrigation system, just beyond where we tapped into our water supply, we're going to install our first valve. This valve will be a manual valve, otherwise known as an isolation valve. This will allow us to shut the water off to our irrigation system for winterization or routine maintenance. During this installation, we'll be using PVC pipe. But keep in mind, no matter what pipe you're using, the basic installation method's the same. After initially transitioning the PVC pipe, we're going to glue a length of pipe to our PVC shutoff valve. We'll then cut the PVC pipe to length, prime, and cement it to our 90-degree fitting. Our first step after the manual valve is to install a master valve. Although this valve is not required, we highly recommend it. Prime and cement a small piece of pipe to the inlet of the electric valve. Then prime and cement the other end of the pipe and the outlet of the manual valve. You'll wire this master valve to the master valve terminal on your electronic controller. For more information on the master valve and its wiring, please refer to Do-It-Yourself Irrigation's video, Irrigation Wiring. After we've installed the watertight connectors on our valve wiring, we'll then install a 6-inch valve box around the valve. This allows us to keep the valve housed underground so we can perform maintenance if necessary. I like to then pour stone around the valve body for a nice clean installation. We then can install this 6-inch valve box around the manual valve, and then for a clean installation, add stone around that valve too. From the master valve, the water will then travel to the backflow preventer, through the backflow preventer, and then to our first valve. Our first type of installation will be a single valve installation. The water that comes from the backflow preventer proceeds through the valve and then to the sprinkler heads in that zone or station. The water that supplies the valves is called a main line. The water that exits the valve is called a lateral line. In this type of installation, the main line tees off and goes to the first valve, and then the main line continues onto the next valve or series of valves. We're running our main line down to the next series of valves in line. This series of valves is a pre-manufactured Rainbird manifold. These manifolds come in several different sizes for your convenience. Our first step to this process is to tee off of the main line by priming and cementing a PVC tee. Your next step would be to cement a small piece of PVC pipe to the inlet of the valve manifold and then cement it to the PVC tee. The next step would be to add to the main line to extend for our next series of valves. Now that we've finished our main line to this set of valves, we'll continue on to our next series of valves. Now we've brought our main line to our next series of valves. Now this is also a manifold, but this time it's a homemade one by using a 90-degree elbow and a T and a couple small pieces of PVC pipe. Again, we've teed off of the main line using a PVC tee, then brought it to the two valves, and then run our lateral lines to the sprinkler heads. Now keep in mind our main line water is going to continue on to another valve. Now we've come to our last valve. This valve is for our drip irrigation. This is a Rainbird control zone kit. It consists of a valve, pressure regulator, and a filter. It's very compact. That allows us to install it in a meter box and still be able to remove the filter for cleaning. Now we've installed all our valves and we need to run the rest of our lateral lines along with running our drip irrigation into the bedding areas. Then we wire all the valves. Now we're ready to install our valve boxes. Using a hacksaw or sawzall, cut out sections of the valve box to allow for a clearance around the pipes. Finish wiring all the valves. Then fill the voids around the valves with drainage rock. Then you'll repeat this process with all the valves in your system. Then finally, install the tops to the enclosures and then backfill around the boxes. This will conclude Do-It-Yourself Irrigation's valve installation video. Thank you for choosing Do-It-Yourself Irrigation. And remember, if you want the job done right, do it yourself. Irrigation.